Welcome to Attempting to Bake. I'm Stevie, and today I'm taking on something that has daunted many a home baker, rough puff pastry. I'm making it for a Tarte Tatin, caramel, apple, and rough puff pastry on top, all baked to a golden perfection. But before we do that, we have to battle the rough puff. So, let's do it. One and 1/4 cup AP flour, half teaspoon sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt. 1 stick of cold butter cubed. Hi, I really can't pet you right now. I'm about to get my hands on this. She very good girly though. Attempting to do this without my cats interrupting me. The research that I've done for this recipe says to really just toss this in flour. Don't really try to break it up too much. A tablespoon at a time. 6 tablespoons of water. Just very gently working it in. I think that this is also when you start to sort of squish down the butter cubes. Not too much though. I think the majority of the butter really gets incorporated whenever you're doing your envelope folds. I think that was 3. It's starting to come together. Very shaggy. Yeah. I'm worried that it still feels too dry. I'm gonna add in just a touch more water. I'm also adding in a little bit more water because I'm quite high in altitude. And whenever you're really high up, it's better to have a little bit of a looser dough. Awesome. Okay, it says to flatten it to about a 3/4 inch rectangle. All right, the butter is starting to get quite warm, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my envelope fold 1/3, and then, oh yeah, she's warm, 1/3. Don't judge me. Fridge for half an hour, I think. Let's start rolling. I don't know, would this qualify as the first or second fold? Second. I think I'm gonna do 6 folds total. Three. Right? 3. Counting is hard. I want to see a how it's made episode on rough puff pastry. How do they manufacture this at a mass level? Because I know you can go and just buy this in the store. 4. Whoop. 5. I'll tell you what, if you want a good arm workout, this is prime pastry to make. I also saw something that said if the dough starts getting too tough to work with, cover it with a towel and let it sit for about 5 minutes. Which I could do that, which would probably be smarter and easier. But I'm also already on my last fold. Of course, sitting and letting it rest would also probably avoid it tearing too. Okay. We're gonna fold this up for the last time. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. She is sticking. 6th fold. Okay. Back into the fridge for a very long time, which I have not determined how much it will be yet. I'm also probably gonna put this into like a gallon bag or something to keep it from dehydrating. So it is now quite some time later. It may or may not be the following day. And I'm going to get started on the apples for my Tarte Tatin. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna pull my puff pastry out, start letting it warm up a little bit so it's a bit more workable. I have 6 apples here. I'm using a combination of 2 or 3 recipes, which is very true to form for me. To keep the apples from going brown, I am doing a little bit of water and lemon juice. These things never work the best. I don't know how thinly to slice these. I don't know, I kind of want them a little bit thinner. I saw one recipe that said to leave them in like halves. A little too thick for my taste, which isn't something you'll hear often from me. Nailed it. I really may just forego using this thing altogether, because I mean really, okay, yeah, so stem top. Yeah, trying it without the apple core. The verdict is, why didn't I do this from the start? Alright. Back. Big ass cutting board. Backed? Back? Big ass cutting board. Back book? Oh. That did better than I thought it would. I don't know what I was expecting it to do, but it did better than I thought it would. I've already got flour all over myself. It's still pretty cold. We'll see. She may need a second longer to warm up. I'm gonna roll it out now. Hang on. So I need to roll this out now to the size of my pan. Oh, I'm schwitzing. Let's see. Close, but not quite. I'm pretty proud with how this is rolling out. Let's see here. That is large enough. I'm probably etching a circle into my cutting board right now. The rough puff will leave its mark. Ah. Nope. Doop. A little wide. I like a clean racing line. God, where did I start? Okay. Ta-da! Spherical. The rest of this puff pastry I'm going to save and do something yummy with later. If I find it particularly good, I'll add it in. Okay, so they're not perfect, but you get the idea. They're like little mini quiches. That's what we're doing. Doing tiny quiche. Quiches. What's the plural for quiche? I'm gonna use parchment paper. Wax paper it is. I'm winging this. I'm not following any instructions. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to try to keep this from drying out. I don't have room. She's round. That's burning. What do I do now? Really low heat. Should I try to mix it? As we can see now, this is no longer necessarily going to plan. I had it on 4 for a really long time, and I think that's what was burning it, so I've got it on 2 now. Okay, I'm gonna start adding the apple. One last toss in the lemony water. These down. I don't really know how to do this. I've seen videos of it, and they make it look so pretty, and for the life of me, I can't figure out how they do it. Said to flip them over. Yep. I think it's going well. That's too much work. Ooh, yeah. Slant them a little bit. There we go. Slant. What if I just... Wouldn't that be fun? After quite a lot of finagling, I have come up with this. It's not perfect, but it will be covered by puff pastry. I also got all the little caramel bits off of the whisk from earlier, and I put them on top. It's now back over a warm burner. Abracadabra. Try to soften up the caramel a little bit more. I think it's also supposed to cook the apples a little bit, but I've also sliced them pretty thin. So hopefully they will bake in the 400-degree oven. All right, I think that the caramel is softened up on the underside of the apples, at least enough for me to try to get the puff pastry down underneath it. So now I'm going to, maybe, there we go. Not bad. Try to center this a little bit more. Oh, look at that, I can already see the butter coming out of it. So now, tuck this down. In the story of Tarte Tatin, it was the Tatin sisters, I believe their names were Stephanie and Caroline. They had a hotel, 1800s France. And I believe that they were so busy that one of the sisters forgot to put the crust underneath of their apple pie, and therefore they put it on top. How one forgets to put the crust on the bottom is beyond me. I suspect wine or maybe some bread mold were involved. Now, I'm gonna cut a couple air vents. This hurts. They're not strategically placed, are they? Okay, this is now going to go in for 25 minutes. Be good to me. I kind of wanted it to get a little bit more brown on top, but I think that this is looking pretty good. She bubbling. And it's also pulled away from the sides too, which I know is a good indicator. And it's very hot, so I'm gonna set it down now. It's done. Should be able to... Yes. Should be able to turn it. Yes! Alright, let's turn this sucker out.
You might want to put it back here.
Yeah, probably. Thankfully not much for me. But that probably should have baked longer then. I also have this to clean up now. There's also, yeah, so that should have cooked for longer. I should have gone with my gut whenever I saw that the pastry was pale. Let that condense up some more. Let that melt some more. But we still have something to try. There is still some caramel on there.
I think it looks yummy.
Oh, thank you. The bottom of the plate is quite sticky. I wonder why that is. This was accidental, but you can see the layers.
That's cool.
I'm having this apple. Ooh, that's good. It reminds me of this autumn trifle my mom used to make. Yum. Little dollop of whipped cream. Fork for you, fork for me. It's good taste.
You first.
Fair. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of
I'm getting poison, you're coming with me.
Smokey agrees. Nice.
He would also like a bite of the poison.
If this is poison, it's worth it.
That was really yummy.
Yeah.
You did a really good job. I think if it had cooked just a little bit longer, but the apples caramelized really well.
Yeah, the apples are just a touch underdone. Definitely could have baked a little bit longer. Butter in the caramel and the butter in the puff pastry, they just meld together into this richness that really melts on the tongue, and then you have the freshness of the apple. It's gorgeous. Even a little bit botched, it's gorgeous. Even with a cat hair, it's gorgeous. Rough puff pastry, worth the effort. I've never had store-bought and homemade rough puff pastry side by side. Maybe whenever I try to make this next time, I'll use store-bought rough puff pastry. If they can do it better than this, I don't need a how it's made episode. They won. White flag. I think that about does it. Oh, this rough puff pastry is so good. Somebody save me from myself. That is absolutely delightful. If you found this delightful, drop a like. Subscribe to me. It would really mean a lot. And I hope you have a delightfully sweet day. Until next time, bye.